You said something sharp to someone you love. Or maybe you just feel this constant low-grade anxiety humming in the background of your life. You want to be patient, you want to be kind, you want to feel a sense of peace. You try really hard, you make resolutions, you tell yourself, today I will not get angry in traffic. And then a car cuts you off, and all that resolve just vanishes. It's frustrating. It can feel like you're running on a spiritual treadmill. You're putting in the effort, but you're not getting anywhere. You read the Bible and see descriptions of people filled with love and joy, and you think, what am I doing wrong? This is a really calming feeling, and the answer might be simpler and more profound than you think. It's found in a short passage in the Bible in a letter Paul wrote to a group of people in a region called Galatia. He lists something he calls the fruit of the Spirit. Here's what he says in Galatians chapter 5, verse 22-23. But the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, forbearance, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. That's the list. 9 things. Love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. But the most important word in that whole sentence might be the second one, fruit. He doesn't call them the achievements of the Spirit or the rewards for trying really hard. He calls them fruit. Think about an apple tree. An apple tree doesn't strain or struggle to produce apples. It doesn't grit its branches and think, okay, come on, I gotta make an apple today. It just produces apples. It's the natural result of what it is. The apples grow because the tree is connected to its source of life, the soil, the water, the sun. The fruit is evidence of the life flowing through the tree. This is the whole idea. These 9 qualities are not a to-do list for you to achieve. They are the natural result of a life connected to God's Spirit. They are the evidence that His life is flowing through you. So the question isn't, how can I try harder to be more loving? The real question is, how can I stay connected to the source of life so that love grows naturally? Let's look at these 9 fruits one by one. Let's see what they really are. And then we can talk about how that connection works, how we can cultivate the soil of our own lives so this fruit can grow. First up is love. This isn't the kind of love we see in movies. It's not a feeling. It's not romantic butterflies or even just warm affection for our friends. The Greek word used here is agape. This is a different kind of love. It's a love of choice and action. It's a selfless concern for the well-being of others, regardless of whether you like them or whether they deserve it. This is the kind of love that God has for people. It's a love that gives without expecting anything in return. In a practical sense, it's choosing to listen to someone when you'd rather be doing something else. It's helping a neighbor you don't particularly get along with. It's forgiving someone who hurt you, not because they've earned it, but because it's the right thing to do. This love isn't about our feelings. Our feelings are fickle. Agape love is a commitment. It says, I am going to act in your best interest, no matter how I feel about you right now. This kind of love is impossible to sustain on our own. We run out of steam, and we get bitter. But as a fruit of the Spirit, it's God's own love flowing through us, enabling us to love people we could never love on our own. Next is joy. Again, this is not the same as happiness. Happiness depends on what's happening. So, we get a promotion, we're happy. We go on vacation, we're happy. Our team wins, we're happy. But what happens when we lose the job? The vacation is a disaster, or the team loses. If happiness vanishes, joy is different. Joy is a deep, underlying sense of contentment and well-being that doesn't depend on our circumstances. It's based on the solid reality of who God is and our relationship with Him. It's a quiet confidence that no matter what is happening on the surface of our lives, things are fundamentally okay because God is in control. It's the ability to have a sense of hope even in the middle of a hospital waiting room. It's a deep-seated gladness that can coexist with sadness and grief. You can be grieving a loss and still have joy because your ultimate hope isn't in your circumstances. It's in something, and someone much more permanent. This joy isn't something we can pump ourselves up to feel. It grows from a deep trust in God's goodness even when life is hard. Then comes peace. The world thinks of peace as the absence of conflict. If there's no war, there's peace. If no one is yelling, the house is peaceful. But the peace of the Spirit is different. The Hebrew word for this is shalom, and it means so much more. It means wholeness, completeness, wellness, and tranquility in the soul. It's an inner calm that holds steady even when the world around you is chaotic. It's the opposite of anxiety and worry. It's the peace that Jesus had when he was sleeping in the boat during a raging storm. The storm was real. The danger was real. But his inner state was not dictated by his outer circumstances. This is the peace that guards our hearts and minds. When we are worried about the future, or stressed about our finances, or anxious about our health, this peace is a gift from the Spirit that says, it's okay. I am with you. You are not alone in this. It's a supernatural calm that doesn't make sense to the outside world. It doesn't come from having all our problems solved. It comes from knowing the one who has overcome all our problems. The fourth fruit is often translated as patience, but a better word might be forbearance or long-suffering. This is more than just waiting calmly in a long line at the grocery store. It's about how we endure difficult people and hard situations over a long period of time. It's patience with people's flaws and failings. It's the ability to be wronged and not immediately lash out in anger or seek revenge. Think about the person in your life who really gets under your skin. The coworker who is always critical. The family member who constantly makes poor choices. Forbearance is the ability to deal with them graciously over and over again without becoming bitter or cynical. It's a reflection of God's own patience with us. He puts up with our repeated mistakes and failures with incredible long-suffering. When this fruit is growing in us, we start to have that same kind of staying power with others. We don't give up on people so easily. We have a longer fuse. We can't absorb an offense without exploding. This is a tough one, because our natural instinct is to fight back or cut difficult people out of our lives. But the Spirit gives us the strength to endure, to forbear, and to show grace. Next is kindness. Kindness is not just about being nice. Niceness can be shallow. We can be nice to people we want to impress. We can be nice because it's socially expected. Kindness as a fruit of the Spirit is deeper. It's a genuine, warm-hearted goodness that is put into action. It's love in action. Kindness looks for ways to help. It's bringing a meal to a new parent. It's giving a genuine compliment to a discouraged store clerk. It's stopping to help someone with a flat tire. It's an act of tenderness toward others. It's the opposite of being harsh, critical, or cold. A kind person is approachable. They make others feel safe and valued. This isn't about a big, grand gesture. It's often found in 1,000 small everyday actions. It's the gentle word instead of the sharp one. It's the helping hand instead of the critical eye. It's a practical expression of God's own tender-heartedness toward us, flowing out through us to the people we meet. The sixth fruit is goodness. This sounds a bit like kindness, but there's a difference. While kindness is more about action and tenderness toward others, goodness is more about character and integrity. It's a moral excellence. It's a heart that is aligned with what is right and pure. A person with the fruit of goodness is someone you can trust. They are honest in their business dealings. They are upright in their personal life. Their yes means yes, and their no means no. Goodness is the opposite of corruption and deceit. It's a life that is transparent and has nothing to hide. It's a desire to do the right thing even when no one is watching. This fruit shows itself in our choices. When faced with the temptation to cut corners, to lie, or to take the easy way out, a person growing in goodness will choose the path of integrity. It's the moral backbone that comes from having God's own character being formed in us. It's a deep-seated desire to reflect His purity in a world that often celebrates the opposite. Then we have faithfulness. This is about being reliable, dependable, and trustworthy. A faithful person is someone you can count on. They keep their promises. They follow through on their commitments. If they say they will be there, they will be there. This is a direct reflection of God's character. The Bible calls God faithful over and over again. He keeps His covenants. His promises are true. He never fails or abandons His people. When the fruit of faithfulness grows in us, we become a more stable and reliable presence in the lives of others. Our friends, family, and coworkers learn that we are people of our word. This fruit also relates to our faithfulness to God Himself. It's a steadfast loyalty and commitment to Him, even when our faith is tested or when it's not popular. It's the quiet perseverance of continuing to trust and follow Him day in and day out through good times and bad. It's the quality of being a dependable steward of what God has entrusted to you. The eighth fruit is gentleness. This word is often misunderstood. In our culture, gentleness can sound like weakness. But the biblical idea of gentleness, or meekness, is the opposite of weakness. It's strength under control. Think of a huge, powerful draft horse. It has immense strength, but it is gentle enough for a child to lead it. It has submitted its strength to the will of its master. That's the picture here. Gentleness is not about being a doormat. It's about having your power, your rights, and your ego under control. It's the ability to correct someone without crushing them. It's the ability to be firm without being harsh. It's knowing when to speak and when to be silent. Jesus described Himself as gentle and humble in heart. He had all the power in the universe, but He used it with incredible restraint and humility. When this fruit grows in us, we become less reactive. We are not so easily provoked. We don't have to win every argument. We can be strong and soft at the same time. We can handle delicate situations and delicate people with grace. Finally, there is self-control. It's fitting that this is the last one on the list because in many ways it helps to hold all the others together. Self-control is the ability to govern our desires, passions, and impulses. It's the mastery of our own appetites. This applies to everything. It's control over our temper. It's control over our words. It's control over our eating and drinking. It's control over our spending. It's control over our sexual desires. It's the ability to say no to the things that are harmful to us and others, and yes to the things that are good. In a world that tells us to follow our feelings and indulge every desire, self-control is profoundly countercultural. It's not about repression or pretending we don't have desires. It's about directing those desires in a healthy and holy way. It's the inner strength given by the Spirit to live a disciplined and ordered life, not for the sake of being rigid, but for the sake of freedom. The person who is a slave to their temper or their appetites is not free. The person with self-control is truly free to live the life God intended. So that's a list: love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. It's a beautiful picture of a life transformed. It's the character of Jesus himself. And that brings us to the second and most important question. How do I get them? If you look at that list and think, okay, new to-do list, I need to work on my patience, I need to be more kind, I need to practice self-control, then you've missed the whole point. And you're setting yourself up for that same frustrating failure we talked about at the beginning. Remember the apple tree. The tree doesn't produce apples by trying. The fruit is the natural, inevitable result of its connection to the vine. Jesus talks about this exact thing in the Gospel of John, chapter 15. He says, I am the vine, you are the branches. If you remain in me and I in you, you will bear much fruit. Apart from me, you can do nothing. Apart from me, you can do nothing. That's the key. We cannot produce this fruit on our own. It is the fruit of the Spirit. It is the result of the Spirit of God living in us and changing us from the inside out. So the process of getting the fruit is not a process of trying harder. It is a process of yielding more. It's not about self-improvement, it's about self-surrender. It's about cultivating our connection to the vine. What does that look like in a practical, day-to-day way? If an apple tree needs good soil, water, and sunlight, what do we need? The first thing is to be planted in the right soil. This means admitting we can't do it on our own. It's about recognizing our own spiritual bankruptcy and asking God's Spirit to come and live in us. It's the starting point of a relationship with God through Jesus. This is what it means to be born again. It's a new life source being connected to our own. Without this connection, we are just trying to glue plastic fruit onto dead branches. It might look good for a little while, but it's not real, and it won't last. Once we are connected, the work becomes about staying connected, about abiding in the vine. This is not a passive thing. It involves intentional choices. One way we do this is by spending time with God. This is the water and the sunlight. This means prayer. Not just a list of things we want, but a real conversation. Talking to him about our day, our fears, our struggles, listening for his voice. And it means reading the Bible. This is not about just gaining information. It's about letting God's words wash over our minds and hearts. It's how we learn what God is like. It's how we align our thinking with his thinking. When we consistently spend time in God's presence, we are changed. We start to absorb his character, just like spending a lot of time with a close friend can make you start to talk or act like them. This isn't a chore or a religious duty to check off a list, it's relationship. Right? It's how we stay connected to the life source. Another way we abide is through simple obedience. As we read the Bible and listen to God in prayer, the Spirit will prompt us. He will nudge us to do something. Maybe it's to apologize to someone, maybe it's to give some money away, maybe it's to stop a bad habit. These are small opportunities to say yes to God. Every time we obey one of these promptings, we are strengthening our connection to the vine. We are telling God, I trust you. I want your life to flow through me. And every time we ignore that prompting and choose our own way, we are putting a little kink in the hose. The life can still flow, but it's restricted. A life of consistent disobedience will not produce much fruit because we are actively resisting the work of the Spirit. The obedience isn't about earning God's favor. It's about positioning ourselves to receive the life he is freely offering. Faith community is also a huge part of this. A branch doesn't grow in isolation. It grows on a vine with other branches. We need other believers. We need to be in a church with other people who are also trying to stay connected to Jesus. We learn from them. We are encouraged by them. They can see things in our lives that we can't see. When we see the fruit of kindness or patience in someone else, it can inspire us. When we are struggling, they can pray for us and support us. Trying to grow spiritually all by yourself is like trying to grow a tree in a dark closet. It just doesn't work. We were designed to grow together. Now, there is one more part of this process. It's the hard part. Jesus talks about it in that same passage in John 15. He says that the Father, the gardener, prunes every branch that does bear fruit, so that it will be even more fruitful. Pruning hurts. Pruning means cutting things away. Sometimes God will allow difficult circumstances into our lives. A job loss, a health crisis, a relationship that ends. These things are painful. But often it's in these times of trial that the most growth happens. These difficulties can cut away our self-reliance. They can remove our dependence on things other than God. They force us to cling to the vine like never before. And in that clinging, more of his life flows into us and more fruit is produced. Sometimes pruning is more direct. God might show you a habit, a relationship, or an attitude in your life that is stunting your growth. It might be a love for gossip, a problem with envy, an unhealthy dependence on entertainment, or a friendship that consistently pulls you in the wrong direction. The Spirit will convict you of this, and he will ask you to let it go. This is a painful cutting, but it's done out of love by a good gardener who knows that removing that one thing will allow for much greater and healthier growth in the long run. So you see, the process of growing the fruit of the Spirit is a partnership. Our job is not to produce the fruit. That's the Spirit's job. Our job is to cultivate the connection. It's to stay planted. It's to absorb the water and the sunlight of his presence. It's to obey his promptings. It's to allow him to prune us when necessary. And we have to be patient with the process. Fruit doesn't grow overnight. If you plant an apple seed, you don't go out the next day and expect to see a huge tree loaded with apples. It takes time. There are seasons of growth that are hidden underground where it doesn't look like anything is happening. But deep down, the roots are growing stronger. It's the same with us. You might not feel like you are becoming more patient or more loving, but if you are consistently choosing to stay connected to Jesus, change is happening. It might be slow. It might be 2 steps forward, 1 step back, but the Spirit is at work. One day, you'll find yourself in a stressful situation, and you'll respond with a peace that surprises you. Or someone will be difficult, and you'll react with a gentleness that you didn't know you had. And in that moment, you'll see it. A small piece of fruit. Evidence that the life of God is truly flowing through you. This should be incredibly freeing. The pressure is off. You don't have to wake up every morning and try to conjure up love or joy or self-control from your own limited resources. Your job is much simpler. Your job is to turn your attention to Jesus, to connect with him, to talk to him, to listen to him, to trust him. Focus on the relationship with the gardener, not on the production of the fruit. When the connection to the vine is healthy and strong, the fruit will come. It's a natural, beautiful, and inevitable result of his life in you.